It's clear this story is only going one way. Amorim is practically begging Ineos to put him out of his misery. Was it a case of missed chances for United like Amorim was trying to say though? Well, far from it. Once again, United lacked any real threat in front of goal until City started sitting back. And City took full advantage of clear structural issues that's been there ever since Amorim joined. As much as Amorim likes to deflect away from these tactical issues, they're there plain as day, and more people are noticing it now. What am I talking about then? Well, before I get into it, like and subscribe. But it was clear on the day that Pep was trying to take full advantage of United's two-man midfield. Something that a lot of teams have been doing ever since Amorim joined the club, as they know United play with that lone pivot and they can get a clear number advantage in that area. And this was a common theme ever since the game started. United want to press in that sort of 5-2-3 for some sort of reason. A lot of times Ahmad and Mbeumo did drop to make a 5-4-1, makes you a little bit more compact, but it still wasn't ideal. Because what kept happening was Ahmad and Mbeumo want to jump onto those centre-backs. That's what they want to do to try and force them to play a little bit more rushed with the ball. But then what ended up happening, those two in midfield would simply get outnumbered by the three in behind them. As what Pep did, it was either O'Reilly on the left-hand side or Doku coming in to form at least that three in midfield to outnumber United's midfield pivot. It happened throughout the game, and there wasn't a more clear example of it than City's first goal. Even Fernandes acknowledged the issues in the structure after the game, something that Amorim has never done at United. Fernandes spoke about it. He wants to go and press Rodri, who's a little bit in front of him. But then you've got Foden in behind him. He's looking there. Who's going to pick him up? Well, Euro is kind of there, and Fernandes wants Euro to come in there and try and press Foden, as you kind of have to do if you're going to play this setup. But instead, Euro is miles off it. He wants to retreat rather than being so far forward, which is understandable for a centre-back. There were times when Euro and Shaw did push right up into sort of City's half, but they don't want to do it. They're not comfortable there. There's that confusion. Foden is able to pick up the ball, have an acre of space. He plays the ball out wide to Bernardo Silva. And as then the ball is recycled a little bit, you can see the issues in that 5-2-3 setup yet again. Luke Shaw is getting pinned because he's got two players outside of him, so he doesn't quite know whether he can jump onto Doku or not. Well, he can't, because you can see there's another City player waiting there to exploit that space. So they're getting pinned. A common theme for your Amorim's United throughout the course of this season, throughout the course of last season as well. So Rodri's able to find Doku in that space. Luke Shaw is not close enough to him, so Doku has a run on him. Obviously, Doku's able to get that ball into the box. Fernandes, you can talk about it. Yes, he does sort of lose his marking in that box. Probably should be marking Foden. But if you're going to ask an attacking midfielder to play as the deepest lying midfielder, then you're going to have troubles. Ugarte loves to go and press them, try and close players down. So he's attracted to the ball. Then you're asking Fernandes to do a CDM role. I mean, the board, Amorim, if you want an attacking midfielder, one of the best in the world, to do that role...
Are you out of your mind?
As I've said, Fernandes literally talked about these issues in his post-match press conference, showing more awareness than the actual manager. These aren't teething problems. They're constant structural issues. They were there at Sporting. They were there at United last season, and now they're there in this season. How long is it going to be until Amorim really acknowledges it and changes how he plays? He's already said he's not going to, so I doubt the results are going to change much either. Another issue with that double pivot that United are playing, Ugarte starting this game, loves to lunge into a tackle. As a manager, you know this. The second goal, prime example of it. Ugarte tries to close his man down, ends up getting nutmegged, and Mazraoui ends up getting skinned. So you can see the distance between Ugarte and Fernandes. Yet again, if your pivot constantly has this much space in between them, it's not a really ideal structure. Man City, Doku ends up rolling Euro. Haaland makes a good run in behind. City have the second goal. Pretty much game over. And they weren't the only troubles that United had. United with the ball. It was clear that short build-up was scrapped. There were opportunities to try and play around the City press as City tried to force us into the middle of the pitch. But it was long balls to Seshko or the 10s that were instead the main option throughout this game. Not horrendous, but not ideal. If teams are going to know you're going to play this way, then they can obviously counter for that then. But it was United's play in City's half where I had my most complaints. I did warn for caution when fans were getting overly ecstatic about these sort of stats from the opening 3 games. Again, in the derby, United struggled to create anything from open play, especially in settled play when City had their defensive line in order. United just didn't look like scoring. We did fluff a few transition opportunities in the opening 15 minutes, and that's probably what Amorim was talking about when he said we missed some chances. But in terms of shots on goal, there weren't really any until Man City started sitting back at the very end of the game. I spoke about it beforehand. Those direct attacks is great if you're going to obviously score from them. But United literally can't score any other way. So when we fluffed those few direct attacks that we had in the opening 15 minutes, you literally can't score any other way. So when they don't work out, we've literally got nothing else. And this was the common theme from the settled play stuff. Luke Shaw looking across the ball here. Seshko surrounded by 4 City players. I mean, you're looking at it from that Arsenal game. These are common problems that United have. We don't get enough people in the box, so crossing the ball in becomes pretty futile. And it has been for the last sort of year or so now. Spoke about it before the off-season started. You can sign all the attackers you want. But until you sort out these common issues that United have had for months and months now, then you aren't going to score a ton of goals. And you add into that the system is asking Dogu to essentially be Ryan Giggs, then again, Amorim's system just gets the wrong players in the right positions far too often. It's not good at all. The most annoying thing about it is that this City team were really there for the taking, but United couldn't lay a glove on him. For Amorim to come out after the game and once again defend his principles, say he's not going to change, well then, United aren't going to win many games then. Something has to give. No player seems to be platformed well in this system, and the excuses are running out. We've got rid of the bomb squad. We've paid another 200 million for players who seemingly suit this system, and yet we still can't get a tune out of them. You can get excited about a win against Burnley as much as you want. You can get excited about a loss up against Arsenal as much as we want, as much as Amorim likes to keep bringing that game up. The truth is, we played an Arsenal team that weren't fully firing. United still didn't really create an awful lot of chances. And Arsenal in that game did really sit back for the majority of the second half and were happy to do so. So you have to take all those things into account. It's not the gleaming performance that Amorim really likes to paint it as. All in all, it's a very sad situation, and I, for one, don't really feel sorry for Amorim. If he's constantly coming out saying he's not going to change, even in the face of these clear issues, then I can't feel sorry for him. But if Ineos now don't act on it, then once again they're showing that they don't really understand the footballing side of things either. And I do think it's just overall just a massive shit show for United right now. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. For me, these issues aren't going to get better unless he changes. And he's already said he's not going to change. So something has to give. Let me know what you guys think down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new around here. And I'll catch you in the next one.